Welcome to the Duncan Duo Radio Show, hosted by Andrew Duncan, the official real estate agents of the Tampa Bay Lightning. As Tampa Bay's top-selling real estate team with over $3 billion in sales and thousands of homes closed. Sell your home with ease, guaranteed in 14 days or they'll buy it. Visit theduncanduo.com. Here's your host, Andrew Duncan.
Happy Sunday, Tampa Bay. Here to talk to you like I am every week about the real estate market in Tampa. It's been kind of a tumultuous start to the year for Tampa real estate, and I want to get right into it because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there right now kind of wondering what's going on and where the market's headed with everything going on with Iran, oil prices, comets coming into the country, aliens possibly being announced. I mean, it's been a little bit of a crazy start to the year, and probably about the middle of last year, I was really optimistic about getting off to a great start in the market for 2026, and that has not come to fruition. My business, fortunately, is outperforming the market, and we're way up this year over last year. But the market overall has not shown that same resilience, and I want to talk a little bit about it today, kind of why that's where it is, and then talk about what happens next. So first and foremost, everything that happens on the global stage impacts real estate, not necessarily from an instant trickle-down financial effect, but from an emotional one. Home buyers and home sellers, as much as I like to think about things from a financial monetary perspective and separate my emotion from decisions about money, a lot of consumers don't think that way. This is their home, and maybe they're not as financially educated, and there's certainly plenty that are, but there's a lot of them that are not, and they're making decisions based on things going on in the world that could spook them or scare them and cause them to sit on the sidelines. And those things, unfortunately do compress the real estate market. So the attack from the attack on Iran, the Israel and U.S. kind of aligned approach to attack Iran has caused oil prices to spike, and that causes people to get afraid, because that extra $100 or $200 a month that's potentially at risk with increasing gas prices could be the difference between them being able to qualify or them feeling comfortable enough to qualify, or lowering the amount that they can qualify for. And so in real estate, even in the higher end and luxury markets, what a lot of people don't comprehend is that those lower price transactions from someone where $100 or $200 could be the difference between them buying or them buying a lower price home or them being able to qualify at home, especially with historically high insurance and taxes in our state. It is a domino effect to where it eliminates transactions. Now, the buyers and sellers in the super luxury space, and look, we work with a lot of them. We sold a couple of $1 million properties this week. We have one that's under contract that's an off-market opportunity, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, in the 2.6 range. So we do a lot in that upper end, and that audience operates from a different place than the consumer that's buying a $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 house. So, however, these things do impact that market. Let me explain why. So, for example, the person that's out there selling their $200,000 home, most consumers today, not all, but consumers in our market are more likely to move up than they are to move down. So if they're selling their $200,000 house, they're going to buy the $400,000 house. Now, what happens if that consumer who is going to buy that entry starter house and interest rates have gone up, we're now seeing the reversal of the trend that saw interest rates drop. We had President Trump buy $200 billion of mortgage-backed securities through Fannie and Freddie, several weeks, maybe even at this point, a couple months back, and that really, pushed interest rates down, and that created some demand and some excitement. Well, that's been reversed now. We're back above. Interest rates are back above where they were, and they're at a one-year high. From the high fives. And even mid fives on some government type products. Now we're well into the sixes and in some cases approaching 7. So that difference in payment, as well as the increase in other things, inflation kicked up. We saw that as well. that $200,000 person that's buying the $400,000 person's house, if that $200,000 person can't now buy or qualify, then there isn't a, so if that $200,000 person can't buy that house, then the person selling the 200 can't move up now to buy the 400 because they don't have a buyer. And so all throughout the price ranges, you have that option, that affordability crisis that happens when interest rates rise, gas prices rise, inflation kicks back up, and on top of all that, you have fear. Okay, fear is the thing that will paralyze so many consumers from buying a house. They're afraid now. They're afraid because we're in a war. They're afraid because things are getting more expensive. They're afraid that AI is going to replace their job and they might go unemployed. And why would I buy a house if 6 months from now somebody's going to, a robot's going to replace my job? There's so much fear out there that it causes gridlock. It causes people to sit on the sidelines. So all these things kind of working in conjunction and happening at the same time create this situation where we're seeing considerable drops in home sales from last year to this year. This year is lower than last year in the market. Not in my business, thank God, but in the market it's lower. And so the consumers feel that, and it's all of these things hitting at one time that's causing, fewer home sales, despite the fact that even prior to the war in Iran, which has obviously made things more challenging, from an affordability standpoint, we still weren't outpacing last year, even with massively lower interest rates. And it is, again, because the fear over AI, the fear over people's jobs getting replaced, the fear over another hurricane. And so there's just so much going on that's causing people to fence sit. Now, so my hope and expectation coming into this year was that we would get off to a great start and Tampa would have a great real estate market in 2026. It is not looking like that is going to be the case early in the year. I do think there is a chance that we see some rebound in the second half of the year where we pick up some of those home sales that we maybe don't get. I saw the February real estate statistics from the Stellar MLS, which comes out usually about the middle of the month. A few days ago, I reviewed it for February, and we were still off from last year's pace in terms of home sales. Now, the good news in all that is prices are still coming up. That means there's still strong enough demand. That means there's enough people moving here. Good supply is still selling. The best homes are still selling. We're still seeing homes sell in days in some neighborhoods, and it could take months in others. So it's a unique market because of all of these things happening at once are causing fear and affordability problems at the same time. So what happens next? It's really hard to say. The things going on globally do affect the real estate market. They do affect affordability. They affect people. They affect people's emotions, their comfort with buying. The AI and employment challenges definitely cause problems for people. So what is my hope for this year? My hope is over the next few months, hopefully sooner, the Iran situation gets resolved and gas prices get checked back in, and then mortgage rates soften back down. Potentially, we're a couple months away from a new Fed chair. If they can get inflation under control and it's a quick reversal from or the Fed starts looking at stuff like trueflation instead of outdated metrics for measuring inflation. If we can get those things under control, maybe we see a little bit more interest rate relief this year. We get some positive news about potentially some property tax relief in our state. I think the second half of the year, could be strong enough to where we end up having a better 26 than a 25. Obviously, hurricanes and missing the hurricanes and being, kind of having a clean hurricane season for Tampa Bay is important. Other things that I think are at play here, again, as we look at our real estate market, we've got population growth back. Okay, so we've started to see, we're 2 years past. I mean, not quite 2 years, but we're in a second year past the really horrendous hurricanes that we had. Right, the massive impact that it had on our local economy. And right after that, and for about the first year of that, we were not seeing the population growth that we were before. We're now starting to get some of that back. We're starting to see population growth happen again. There's also some things going on in other parts of the country that drive people to our market. Things like California having wealth taxes to get people to move out of prompting people to move out of their state. New York increasing taxes and having a mayor in New York City that is pretty controversial, not not supported by a lot of conservatives that don't want the heavy taxation and the policies that he's looking at implementing. And so that population growth in the, high net worth individual does have a positive impact on our market. It certainly pulls luxury sales, but it also you see people bringing their businesses. So these entrepreneurs that own businesses, they're relocating them to Florida to avoid some of these draconian tax rules. So those are things that take a while to happen, though. Okay, so if you have a ultra high net worth founder of a tech company that moves from California or New York to Florida, and they move their business here, it takes a while to get all those people moved here. It takes a while to trickle through all that. It takes a while for it to have an impact on our market, but it does improve our population growth. So I think our population growth will be back headed in a good direction. The storm stuff, if we can have a clean hurricane season, we get some momentum on property tax relief, and we see some interest rate relief, I think the second half of the year can be really solid. Now, what does that mean if you're a buyer or a seller right now? If you're a buyer, I would tell you not to wait. Okay. And this might not make sense to you because you might think to yourself, well, why would I buy now with interest rates high? When interest rates drop, prices are going to go up. You can drop your own interest rate with a refinance. Most lenders today will do a free refinance for you for a certain period of time. So don't make decisions based on an economic variable that will change with time. Measure and look at the statistical probabilities of property tax relief that will lower your payment and the probability that we see interest rate relief, which I think is high. So if you wait to buy until those things happen, prices are going to rise. Most people are predicting that Florida will see a massive surge in an even greater improvement in population growth and home buying if property taxes go away. And especially because the way it's being rumored that it would happen would start with lower price point homes. We get the most relief first, and then everything else would be kind of phased over a period of time. So if you're a home buyer in those medium, average, and starter home price ranges, I would encourage you not to wait. I think waiting, you're going to involve more competition. It's going to be more expensive for you. Prices are going to go up faster than the interest rate. The change to interest rates. If you wait for rates to go up, we look at this over, I've been in this for 22 years. When interest rates drop, prices go up. They spike. You get bidding wars. You can't get repairs. You can't get concessions. It's way better to buy now if you're optimistic about the future of our real estate market and the things that are kind of coming down the way that are now pushed back. You buy now, and then you have the ability to lower your rate later. That is definitely a smart play right now. For consumers. So don't let fear get in the way. A lot of this stuff is noise. It's stuff that gets resolved in short periods of time. That's my hope and expectation. After 22 years, I've seen a lot of crazy things that happen. And most of the time, the things that cause people to make decisions in the moment, 3 months or 6 months down the line, aren't even relevant anymore. Plus, there's a personal satisfaction and a life goal of home ownership that you get. And people forget sometimes about the benefits of that. So we're going to continue this conversation talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market, everything that's going on after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show.
Back to the Duncan Duo Radio Show, the official real estate agents of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Top team in Tampa Bay, over $3 billion sold and counting. Now your host, Andrew Duncan.
So we're back here talking about the Tampa real estate market. We've got lots of great things happening in Tampa Bay right now. We've got the Lightning hockey approaching the playoffs. We've got cool concerts. I got to experience the Zach Bryan concert at Raymond James last week. Really, really cool concert to go to. I'm a fan of his music. And then secondarily, you've got the men's tournament going on. These are things that put a spotlight on Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, has really become more nationally prominent the last few years with, Stanley Cup winning, hockey team, Super Bowl champion. The Rays are consistently winning. We've got a spotlight on us. So those things will drive our real estate market and population growth, and hopefully some of the macroeconomic stuff gets sorted out. we get some property tax relief and interest rate cuts, and then we're going to be humming again. But I want to talk about something that's come out in the news recently. There's been a lot of litigation over this between real estate brokerages and Zillow about listings being marketed and homes being marketed before they're effectively on the market, like a coming soon or a pre-listing marketing package. And this is something we've always done in my business. Fortunately, having done this for as long as I have, I've got a database of a few 100,000 people that we can market things to in non-traditional ways. So if you're a home seller and you want to sell your house, but you don't want a sign in the yard, or you have a unique or high-end property and you want to market it a different way to where it can be advertised before it's finished or advertised before it's done. We just had a new construction house that we sold before it ever even hit the market. There's so many avenues today for a consumer to get what they really want. And there are a lot of opponents to some of this happening. So recently, some of the online real estate portals have allowed real estate agents to start marketing homes before they're on the market. There was this big lawsuit between real estate brokerages and Zillow and whether it could be allowed or whether it not. It looks like it's finally been squashed. But now it looks like we're going to get more of the green light to not just use our database and kind of our phone and email and text to create demand for a property that's unique or find buyers for it, but also to actively market it in a way that lets people know it's coming. I've always believed in this strategy. It's no different than, Walmart or Amazon putting out their Black Friday ads a few weeks before the sales, right? Like, hey, look, we're going to have a $199, 9,000-inch TV. We're going to have an iPad for, $200 or whatever it is. So the strategy does work, and it is right for some consumers. It's not right for all. I'm a big believer in consumer choice. Every time I hear real estate agents, brokers, or mortgage people, or anyone in the industry say, well, how is it not good for consumers when, it's not fully marketed on the MLS? First off, that's one of the most arrogant things you could possibly say, because you are now assuming that the consumer doesn't know what they want, that you're smarter than the consumer. And any business that tries to tell itself that it's smarter than the consumer is set up for failure. The consumer, especially the information at its fingertips today with AI, has as much information as you do. It is massively arrogant and cocky for real estate agents to come out and say, it is not a good idea to not put a property on the MLS and get full exposure. The customer may not want full exposure. Why do you think some of these huge cash buyers buy homes all day long? I'm one of them. I buy homes all the time from consumers that don't want to go through the process. They just want quick cash and clean. They know they can sell their house. We even have a disclosure for it. They know they can sell their house for more money. They just don't want the hassle. Just like trading in a car. They could put it on Auto Trader themselves and field all the phone calls and deal with their time is worth more than that. So for consumer choice, I'm excited about it. I think it's a great thing that consumers now have the choice to do off-market or pre-market coming soon type opportunities. I think it's a great thing for our industry. And again, the MLSs and boards don't love it. MLSs and boards don't love it because they've been the gatekeepers of the data for so long that when they're not the gatekeepers of the data anymore, they don't really have as much to sell you. Okay, so I am excited about it, and it is something that we offer. So again, if you are a buyer looking for off-market opportunities, if you're a seller that wants to sell your property through non-traditional means and want to market it through a database of 200,000 people, we have the ability to help do that. And we can even do it without putting it on any of those portals. We sell homes all the time that don't hit the market. We have a meeting every week with up to 40 of our real estate professionals where we sit down and we talk about all the things that we've got coming on the market. And oftentimes there's a match there. There's an agent that has a client looking for what one of our agents is going to put on the market. So if you're a consumer and you want to go the non-traditional path, we would love the opportunity to apply for the job. You just have to tell our agents if that's the path that you want to go. You can set a consultative appointment with us at duncanduo.com. You can also just click through, give us your address, and fill out a couple of forms. And then we can look at your situation and your property. We've had customers everywhere from people looking for land, starter homes, up to, a week ago, I was showing a South Tampa waterfront property, where the customer wants $20 million, so we can work through all those price ranges because our database is so robust. We can actually go into that database and then search for consumers that are looking on the websites for that specific product. We can go into our database, we can use AI, and we can say, hey, we have a customer that's selling this 3.2 in Largo, or this 3.2 in South Tampa, or this 3.2 in Riverview, in this price range. Who are our people looking at our websites? And again, not all these people are our clients. I mean, these are people just signed up on my website or used it to search homes. We can find the people and target it to those people. We can do the same thing with real estate agents. We can go into our system and say, hey, who are the real estate agents that sold homes in this zip code, and then target market it to them. Say, hey, we have this off-market opportunity. So if the off-market path is something that's of interest to you, we'd love to apply for the job. We'd love to help you accomplish that, whether you're a buyer or seller, no matter the price range. And the agent that you would work with at my company would be experienced in the price range of your property. If you're selling a starter home, I have agents that do a lot of that. If you're selling luxury, I have agents that focus on that. If you're in, no matter where you're at in the Tampa Bay area, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Pasco, Sarasota, Manatee, I have agents all over Tampa Bay that work for my team that specialize in different niches. So don't think that we can't help you just because you think something like, oh, well, my property is unique or it's a niche. I have an agent that's experienced in that, I promise you. It's how we set up our business. It's why we're able to do mass media marketing with radio, TV, and billboards, because we're marketing to the whole audience. We have to be able to serve the whole audience too. So anyway, love to help you. DuncanDuo.com. Be back after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show.
And we're back with the Duncan Duo Radio Show, Tampa Bay's #1 real estate team. Over $3 billion in sales, thousands of happy clients, and official partners of the Lightning. Now your host, Andrew Duncan.
So we're back here chatting about Tampa Bay real estate. The first couple segments, I talked about everything going on in the world right now and how I've kind of pushed back some of my predictions for an improved 2026 real estate market because of all that impact. And this the second segment, I talked about coming soon real estate or off-market opportunities if you're looking to sell or buy, and how we can help you with that. Next, it's obviously such a crazy real estate market with so many different things going on. But I've seen this challenge lately come up again and again when we are talking to customers who either failed to get the help with their first real estate agent in the market, either helping them buy, or failed in terms of, getting their home sold. And if you look at the track record of my business, we're somewhere around 1,500 Google reviews, somewhere around 1,000 on Zillow. Having done this for 22 years, I believe that real estate agents and teams collectively learn from the number of transactions that they do. The amount of years that someone has been a real estate agent is completely irrelevant. The reason why I say that, I've talked about my 22 years, that number is irrelevant, truthfully. If I'd done this for 22 years but did a really crappy job for 22 years and didn't sell really many houses, then I wouldn't be able to speak from a place of experience. It's the deals and the transactions in the trenches that get you the at-bats to solve problems, to help people when others fail them. The real estate industry the last years has not seen a massive drop in the number of agents in the business, despite the fact that we have seen a considerable drop in the number of transactions. So there's fewer and fewer transactions per agents. What's that mean? What does that mean? There are a lot of really inexperienced agents out there that haven't been around very long, that are guiding you through this process, that don't have the right support systems, that don't have the ability to help you navigate, and they're failing you. So if that's you, if you've needed help buying a home and you don't feel like the agent's giving you the right advice, we would love to help you. If you've attempted to sell your home and it hasn't sold, we have sold thousands of homes that were listed with other agents. Let me repeat that again. We have sold thousands of homes that were previously listed with other real estate agents. Thousands, okay? So if your real estate agent has failed in getting your home sold or helping you find the right house, maybe they're not bringing you off-market opportunities. Maybe they're not hitting the mark. Maybe you're the one doing all the searches for them and you're sending them homes and they're not sending you anything and you feel like they're not earning their fee. We would love to apply for the job of helping you. I can assure you that my team of agents, has hundreds and hundreds of years of experience combined. Some of the best negotiators in the market because I've personally trained them. And we have a strategy that is completely different when someone's home failed to sell with another agent or a buyer failed to get help from their agent. So I want to talk about how to work through that. If you're a home buyer and you've been working with a real estate agent and you're not happy with them, first and foremost, if you don't have an agreement, you're under no obligation to continue working with that person, okay? It does not matter if you do not have an agreement with them. That means, number one, they violated the new legal stuff that requires them to have an agreement to show you homes. If someone's just sending you homes, there's no agreement. If you've not signed anything and you're only just getting emails and texts, again, you're under no obligation. If you have signed something, it depends on what you signed. Now, I can't give you legal advice, but there are plenty of those buyer agency agreements that are cancelable or that are restrictive upon certain timeframes or certain inventory types. Those agreements typically it depends on what's in them, but sometimes they can be canceled. Sometimes the broker will release you from that agreement, and we've certainly had clients successful in doing those things when they're unhappy with their agent. But we always encourage them to have the conversation, give the agent a chance. I'm very pro-agent, but I'm just as much pro-consumer, and the consumer obviously needs to have a conversation with the agent, voice their concerns, and see if there's a path forward. And if not, then the next step is figuring out how to do that. Now, here are some ways that we help buyers win in the market when the other agent has failed. Number one, a lot of consumers don't really understand what they want. In my career, through thousands of home sales, I can also testify that thousands of home buyers have told us what they wanted and then bought something different, okay? We're going to think outside the box a little bit. We're going to say, hey, you said you wanted to live in this area, but what if you got a better house or a better deal and you lived in this area and it's the same commute? So people naturally think they know what they want, and as soon as they start looking, they decide to buy something else. So we're going to help you expand your horizons a little bit, number one, as a buyer agent, to help you look at other opportunities. Number two, we're going to try and find stuff that isn't on the market. All the way from door knocking in neighborhoods that you really want to focus on to using our several 100,000 person database to try and find the inventory that you're seeking. Now, we can't do that without a commitment from you, though. So if you're working with another agent and you sign an agreement and you come to us and you say, hey, I want you to do all this stuff for us, we're not going to do that unless we have a commitment from you, because those things take a lot of time, energy, and effort. And as real estate agents, we don't get paid. We don't get paid a salary. We don't get paid unless we help you buy or sell a house. We take on all that risk. So, but if you do hire us to represent you, we're going to look for off-market opportunities. We're going to mine our database. We're going to figure out what you're looking for, and we're going to bring you inventory that other agents aren't bringing you because we have it in our database. Okay. The third thing that we're going to do is we're going to negotiate aggressively in your best interest. This is a great opportunity for home buyers to get interest rate buy downs, closing cost credits, things that they couldn't get in a hotter market, you can get now. And we have our agents are well trained at negotiations. They're going to do things that other agents don't do, which is why we have the reviews that we have, because we feel that our agents go above and beyond to satisfy the client, to earn the fee that a lot of times real estate agents get bashed for not earning. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to help you make good financial choices. We're going to help you ensure that you're getting a good rate on your loan, but not just a good rate, a good overall experience. And you're comparing apples to oranges. I cannot tell you how many times that we see real estate agents misguide customers when it comes to making financial choices. We're not afraid to tell someone that they shouldn't buy a house if there's a bunch of problems with it. We'll get another deal. We're not so desperate that we need a sale to tell you to do something that doesn't make sense. We're going to look at the inspection report. We're going to give you honest feedback about how that can get solved, how we can ask the seller for credits, and then what you just have to expect in that price range is normal for that sale. The last thing that I would tell you when you go back to the mortgage front and the things that we're going to do to help you, there are a lot of mortgage lenders that will quote a really low rate and then hit you with a bunch of fees, hit you with origination costs, or they'll show you a payment and you decide to go with that person because their payment's lower because they misquoted you taxes and insurance. And then you find out later on that their payment is actually higher, their rate was higher, their mortgage payment is higher because the product they use, and the first lender was actually a better deal because they had you in a better rate and lower closing costs, but they were being honest with you about the tax and insurance. So those are things we're going to do as a buyer agent to help you. We'd love the opportunity to help you, theduncanduo.com. You can hit us up on our website. If you're a seller and your home failed to sell and you're unhappy with your agent, we're going to give you, number one, an agent that's experienced with your specific property type and neighborhood. Somebody that sells a lot of real estate. My listing agents have to meet a production and a training threshold to be able to work with home sellers. So you're not just getting some rookie. You're getting a senior level agent at my company that works with home sellers that can give them all their options, whether it's a cash buyout, whether it's a luxury property, whether it's multifamily, investment, commercial. We have agents throughout our company that specialize in all those things. So you're going to get an agent experienced at working with your specific situation. The second thing is we're going to look at the overall marketing approach that was done and where it failed and what we can do differently this time. Sometimes it's as simple as the photos or the videos. Sometimes it's the copy. Sometimes it's the price. Sometimes the home needs to come off the market, okay, so that we can reset it. There are times when consumers get to a point where they've been on the market so long that if you don't reset those days on market, every consumer looking at it is going to look at it and think something's wrong with it. And then last but not least, we're going to want to dial in the price to what the market can support. Every seller wants and thinks that their house is the best house, but it's the market that determines the price, not us. I don't, and ultimately, it's also going to depend on that seller's motivation. If that seller wants to get to their new location faster, we might have a more aggressive approach to pricing than not. But our approach is going to be completely geared around what that consumer's unique need is and what they want to accomplish. So you're going to get, again, an experienced agent at marketing. You're going to get a great negotiator. And you're going to get someone who has many, many times helped someone sell a home when another agent failed. Not all agents are created equal. And that is something that stands the test of time. The experience of the agent matters, but it's not years of experience that matter as much as the at-bats and the transactions. It's like a lawyer that's been a lawyer for 30 years but has only been in trial once, probably not the guy you want representing you in litigation. A real estate agent's been in the business 20 years but sells 3 homes a year. I've got agents that do that in a year. Okay? It's the number of at-bats because you figure things out and you problem solve and you know how to navigate through situations. That's what helps an agent be experienced. And last but not least, you're going to get a massive marketing campaign, whether that's a coming soon program to create pent-up demand, massive exposure on social media, videos, professional photography and editing, as well as syndication to all the major real estate portals. Those are going to be things that we're going to do. And again, experience has taught us what works. Experience has taught us the strategy of what to do when another agent fails to sell a house. So if that is you right now, those are the things that we're going to do if we can represent you. And if you're a seller, the tips that I would give you is don't hesitate to change things up. Number one. Number two, don't wait until it's too late to hire the right agent. We get people sometimes that call us after months and months and months with an agent that doesn't sell much real estate, that isn't very experienced, and they cancel, and they terminate, or their agreement expires and they call us and now they're behind on their mortgage. Don't wait till it's too late to get the professionals involved. There are a lot of agents out there that are not trained on the marketing strategies or negotiating strategies and are failing consumers. And we want to be able to step in and help you get to your next step. So we're applying for the job at duncanduo.com. You can set an appointment there. You can fill out a form to get a cash offer. You can like I said, you can set an appointment with our team, or you can just get the information about what's going on in your neighborhood. So we'll be back continuing and wrapping up our last segment here on the Duncan Duo Show.
Back to the Duncan Duo Radio Show, hosted by Andrew Duncan, official real estate agents of the Tampa Bay Lightning and the team that guarantees your home sells with ease. Visit theduncanduo.com right now. Here's Andrew Duncan.
So we are chatting about Tampa real estate. Andrew Duncan, as you just heard, talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. Last few segments, I talked about how we help customers when other agents fail at helping them, whether they're buyers or sellers, the overall market situation and kind of what I think is happening and why I believe that 26 will still be a good year for real estate in Tampa Bay. It's just going to push to the second half of the year. And then off market and coming soon opportunities, how we can help customers buy or sell, even with homes that aren't technically listed, that we can go out and hunt and find for them, or create pent-up demand for sellers with a coming soon program. So all those things and so much more you can learn about at theduncanduo.com. The next thing I want to talk about, which is kind of an interesting topic right now, and it's because the real estate market is ever changing. You have all these new technologies, you have you have AI, you have all these things, but there's still a personalized approach that comes with real estate. We're not afraid to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. We answer our phone. We don't just rely on text or AI. In fact, recently we had somebody that we were texting. We had a customer looking for property on Bayshore in South Tampa. And one of my team members was texting a homeowner, and they're like, I'm not interested in talking to AI. And she's like, I'm really not AI. And she took a quick video of herself saying, hey, look, I'm really not AI. I'm an actual real person. We have this client. They're only interested in seeing your house. And so we've just realized that people have been so, they've been so overwhelmed with technology that while the technology can be a tool, there are a lot of consumers that are also kind of tired of it. We have some of our customers say, look, I don't want a text. I don't want an email. I just want you to call me. Call me and keep me posted. The number one complaint of consumers with most real estate agents is that they list my house and then I don't hear from them. We're able to establish a communication pattern that you want. If you just want text messages and email updates and you're okay chatting with AI, great. We'll make sure to use our system to appropriately communicate with you. If you're somebody that says, I don't even know how to text, I don't want to talk to AI, I want a phone call from my agent every week, we can make that happen too. There are plenty of our customers that are averse to new technologies, and while we might use those to help represent them, to help get exposure to to a certain audience or to help build out a marketing campaign, we certainly don't need to rely on it to communicate with our client. And I thought about this recently, and I talked to my team about it. I reminded them. I said, hey, look, we have these forms, we have these intakes, we have these processes. Let's make sure we're honoring what the customer really wants in terms of that communication, because there's some of them that don't want to do that. I was inquiring about a car recently, and I was, again, you're dealing with AI. It was on Auto Trader. I messaged, and I knew it wasn't a real person. And I just said, hey, look, I'm really interested in this car. Can you have someone call me? I didn't want to sit there and chat with AI. And within 5 minutes, I had a salesperson on the phone. It was exactly the experience that I wanted. So if you're a customer and you don't want to deal with any of that, you don't want text messages, you don't want emails, you want a phone call, you want to deal with an actual real live human, the challenge of the real estate industry is that AI is going to come in and change a lot of it. There are going to be real estate agents that don't incorporate AI into their business that might be out of the business. It is massively changing our CRM systems, our tech stacks, our communication processes, our editing, our videos, our photos. Like it's massively changing everything. But there are enough consumers out there that still just want to talk to a human. And we're not so far advanced with technology that we don't pick up our cell phone, call and talk to our customers that want to hear from us, that want to ask us advice and want to ask us questions, that don't want to chat with a robot. So if that's you, if you don't want to chat with a robot, if you want to talk to a real human being about your needs, buying or selling, call us 813-359-8990. Again, you can call us 813-359-8990. You can call that number pretty much any time of day. I have salespeople that will answer the phone at 11 o'clock. Do I recommend it? No. Do I want you calling us at 11 o'clock? We'll help you, but I have agents that will answer the phone. So no matter the time of day, if you need real estate help, if you have questions and you don't want to deal with the new technologies of AI and texting and chatting and email, and you'd rather just talk to a human being. And I'm a little old school in that way myself. I'm using AI and some of these tech things to improve my business and to improve my life and to give me leverage. But there are people, and I've got a few people that manage financial stuff for me, that I want a weekly phone call with, that I want to have a conversation with them. I want to hear the tone in their voice when I ask them a question, instead of just getting a text and you can't really interpret that. So if that is you, again, we'd love the opportunity to help you. You can call us at 813-359-8990. I am going to get back to watching some basketball. I love March Madness. I'm a basketball junkie, so I'm excited that March Madness is upon us. It's going to be my distraction for everything going on in the world right now, is to just watch some hoops and enjoy some basketball at Benchmark Arena, formerly Amalie Arena. And I hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend, Tampa Bay.